Welcome to all of you at the Belgian Broadcast Day. I will share my screen. Close this one. Okay. Like Jonathan already introduced me, I'm Rudy Antonissen, and together with my two colleagues, Dirk and Mark, we are the representatives for the LAWO brand in the Benelux region. For the people who doesn't know LAWO, LAWO is a Germany-based company that developing and manufacturing audio and video over IP solutions for the broadcast and event industry. These solutions can be found in different product lines, like audio productions with digital audio consoles, for example, media infrastructure with our vMatrix high-density hybrid platform that can allow to take gateway functionality to SDI, but also have a massive amount of processing power in FPGA-based processor cards that can be doing gateway functionalities, but also multi-viewer functionalities with massive audio matrices, for example, can be implemented in this very flexible hybrid solution. And of course, also our VSM control system that's already is used as a control environment for IP infrastructures for a long time to manage and orchestrate IP flows through an IP environment of an IP infrastructure. Or radio products for delivering all kinds of solutions in radio studios. And last but not least, our smart monitoring platform that I want to be explaining today what we can achieve with this new software platform. LAWO has taken in the last year a pioneer's position in the market of audio and video over IP solutions, and in the last years we have successfully finished a big variety of IP projects around the globe. And to be honest, these projects can be challenging and are not always as smooth as expected. In these projects, it's necessary to bring different vendors, different departments, different engineering skills together and align everybody and everything together to make use of the same IP backbone. And out of our experience, we felt a gap in the right tools to keep the overview in a complex IP infrastructure. For that reason, LAWO developed this new smart platform. Often in projects, broadcast engineers are very familiar with the idea of solving issues by unplugging devices, changing devices, measuring SDI or MIDI cables, or changing cables in an SDI and MIDI world. But in an IP environment, we are adding the IP world to this, so the approach to solve issues got to be completely different. The IT engineers, for example, are very skilled in investigating data packets and data flows in a network environment and talking in a CLI command language, but often doesn't know the expectations of a video and audio engineer that are focusing more on video and audio standards or the image quality or audio drops. So these are different knowledge and different interests in this kind of environments. So we have to bring these two worlds together in a comprehensive tool that can be used by different engineers and departments to find a common language. Bridging these different worlds and different skills together is very much the industry challenge. The engineers from tomorrow will be faced with these different disciplines, and no matter if it's a cloud service or an IP workflow or an enterprise infrastructure, this is very important. Of course, and every engineer will keep his or her specialty, but a common tool will become very important to identify the root cause of an issue in an IP environment without finger pointing to each other to try to solve this issue. And the migration, of course, towards IP, as we all know, it has great advantages in flexibility and making use of different audio and video standards using the same backbone. But keeping track of everything makes life not always easy for engineers. The data put in Excel sheets, the rows that are put in Excel sheets that we all know, with all the different multicast addresses, for example, are growing very fast in this kind of projects, and can become very hard to make comprehensive relation between all these multicast streams, flows, and standards that are traveling in the IP network. And a software tool to visualize this relationship between the orchestration tool like VSM, for example, that's using names for the operator to route signals on an IP environment, and the multicast flows behind will be very important and very helpful for every engineer in this kind of environment. If we take the picture bigger to the complete infrastructure with all the different devices and the network in between, it can become a very complex infrastructure and hard to keep the overview from endpoint to endpoint and how the streams are running from point A to point B. And this is necessary to have a visualization of all these flows inside of the IP environment. That's very important. And for that reason, this brings us to our SMART solution that was developed by LAWO. And actually, SMART stands for Real-Time Network Telemetry and Visibility software tool. It can run on a COD server, so it's quite easy to implement this solution into your environment. And the product itself is divided in two different products called Smart Dash and Smart Scope. Smart Dash will give you a dashboard, an overview of the complete IP environment, while Smart Scope will dive deeper into the media flows itself, to the multicast streams, to do a deep package analysis of the data packets that's arriving to every device in the network. This is a screenshot of the Smart Dash board in the Smart Dash software package, and we can recognize actually 4 different windows in this dashboard: the topology, the telemetry, the connection, and the probe. In the next slides, I will explain to you high level with screenshots from a real life system, how you can, in an easy way, find your way in an IP environment and find a solution, the issue to solve in these environments. If we take a topology that is automatically generated by Smart with LLDP communication, he can recognize all the connections in the network and auto-generate a topology. You can make different views in this topology to make it more comprehensive for the engineer, the operator that is checking the system through this topology. So you can also isolate parts of the network to be more clear if you're only interested in a part of the network. If we dive deeper into, tap into, for example, the spine switch of the network, because this is an example of a red and blue network, then we can see in our telemetry window actually the old information of the switch with all the different ports, and we receive this information in real time. So the operator will be notified by every change in real time. And in the background, Smart will record all the parameters, all this data, also in real time. So even if you will not have a view of a certain device at that moment, Smart will process all the parameters in the background to have an historical data. That's very important. So you can see, for example, all the transceiver parameter information in this window. But if we dive deeper into the switch, we can see all the bandwidths of the incoming and the outgoing traffic on every switch port. And if we go deeper into a certain switch port, we can even look the bandwidth in time. What's happening with the bandwidth of the incoming and outgoing traffic in time? That's very important to get the complete picture and have an idea if a certain event occurs in the past, that you can recognize it and see what is happening with all the other parameters at that certain moment. And also important to make this bridge between operators and the monitoring system. We are implementing the naming of a VSM control platform orchestrator, for example, to keep track of all these flows with the names that the operator already knows from the orchestration tool. So that's very important that everybody could be aligned with this software tool in this environment. And we also can check the P2P traffic, for example, in the switch, to which master clock is the switch locked, and what are the slave ports that are locked to this P2P clock, and how all the parameters are changing in time of the P2P clock. The next slide also is a comprehensive overview for a video engineer, because it shows actually a matrix of the different multicast streams that are flowing through a switch and points the multicast through every network port where the multicast flow is pushed forward to. So he can in a very comprehensive way know which multicast is traveling to which port of that specific switch. If we dive, for example, in the edge device, for example, a C100 card of the vMatrix platform, we can see all the different bandwidths as well, and all the different parameters of this edge device. How is the temperature going? What's happening with the bandwidths of every port? So this gives us also a great overview. As well, the connections, for example, on the backplane of a device with SDI connections, which source is connected with which standard. So this gives us also a great overview of this. And as well, all the P2P traffic can be measured and previewed on a smart dash of an edge device to have a comprehensive way how the P2P clock is compared with different points in the network and learn about these measurements. If we dive deeper into the network and use the scope, the integration of smart scope, we can literally dive into the deep package analysis of every stream that is coming into the IP network. And this with different standards like mentioned on the slide. And this can be measured simultaneously and multiple streams at the same time to get the data in the system and make comprehensive relationships between them. And of course, we can measure the P2P as well on the different network ports in the environment to compare this to the P2P data that we received from switches or edge devices. That's also very important. To wrap this up, because it's a lot of information, but I want to give you a high-level introduction of the smart platform. We can make bridges between different departments. That's important. We analyze historical event data. So the system will trigger events when something happens real time, but also hold every historical data that is measured in the system. So when a certain event occurs, then you can compare it with other kind of events. For example, if a device is deconnected at a certain point in the past, we can make comprehensive relationship with it, and Smart will analyze all this data and point you in the right direction of what the issue is really. And a complete visual comprehensive way to monitor the complete environment. Multi-point real-time monitoring, this means that you can hook up the smart scope in different points in the network to gather at different points data from media flows. So you can compare on every point in your environment how the multicast stream will change in the path in the network. And keep track of every multicast stream in their standard. So the topology view will give you a right path and will preview you the path of the media flow if you select one out of the list of a certain network port. So data is the knowledge. That is an important message. If you have this comprehensive data in a central monitoring system, you can easily solve an issue when something occurs in your IP environment. So thank you for listening to this presentation. Of course, if you want to know more about the smart platform or other solutions of LAWO, we are happy to speak to you, and you can also schedule a private meeting if you want during the broadcast, this broadcast day. But of course, afterwards, you can contact us to have more details and to talk about it in more detail. Thank you.